Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum. You hear that, John?
I hear that, Joe.
That's the Grim Reaper coming for Urban Meyer. Struck on December 15th, December 16th, in the middle of the night, like Jack the Ripper in late Victorian England. Urban's gone. Gone. Like a caterpillar that never transformed into a butterfly. Gone. First coaching casualty of the 2021 season. We are going to cover that in detail today. We're also going to cover COVID. Something we've steered away from on this podcast, but it's about time that we talk about it and how it's ravaging the NFL and sports alike. And what the ramifications are for some of the... It seems like it's hitting some pretty important teams.
Yeah, it is.
At a really, really bad time. So we're going to cover that. And then we're going to go over week 14 and a couple of different teams on how their games have impacted. The Cardinals, what's next for them? No DeAndre Hopkins for the rest of the regular season. And the division is not on lock. What does that mean for them? We're also going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers and the Cincinnati Bengals and what that overtime thriller means for both teams with 4 games to play. And then finally, we are going to get back to our fantasy sleepers and busts. The injury bug for the fantasy sleepers and busts has come back. Our curse is alive and well as two people we picked this week, both Elijah Moore and Lamar Jackson, were hurt or got hurt during a game or were put on IR before the ABVers even played. So we're going to try to buck that trend. And then our game picks, where John is falling behind in a race like the tortoise and the hare. And I am the tortoise. The slow and steady one wins the race, John. Slow and steady one wins the race. We got that and a lot coming up for you. Next on Perfect Spiral. Spencer, hit that mother of a tape.
Play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
We are back.
Joe's in a really, really good mood today.
Wouldn't you be?
Well, you got a haircut. Let's set the tone. You got a haircut. You called me. You got a haircut. You were buying chapstick.
Wouldn't you be happy if you were me?
I would be. The fantasy group chat was going off yesterday about Urban Meyer.
Well, today's a happy day. I have renewed hope. I have renewed faith.
We have dog barking in the background.
In what was a tumultuous 2021 football season. Probably the most difficult season I've ever endured as a fan. Way, way worse than last year. Way worse than last year.
It was definitely worse.
Way worse than last year. Folks, my name is Joe Miglio, and I have my co-host in front of me, John McCarthy. John, how are you on this Thursday evening?
I'm much better than I was last week.
I'm very happy to hear.
Last week was very bad. I mean, I'm still coughing, everybody, a little bit, but
That's
not
okay.
bad.
We are 9 days away from the day that Christ was born, and we have so much to go over today. We are here at episode number 42, guys. 42. But before we get into anything, I just want to let you know, comment, review, subscribe on any of the podcast platforms you are listening to us, whether it's Apple, podcast, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Deezer, Stitcher, or Buzzsprout. We are on all platforms. Please review and subscribe and talk to us. I was talking to some Jaguar fans today in a Twitter Spaces for the first time. That was fun. We were talking about some Jaguar. That was really nice. I enjoyed that very much. That was interesting. John, before we start today, we did not get an opportunity to express our condolences for Demaryius Thomas and the insanely, tragic is a great word, situation that struck him and his family last week before the games were played. After we did our podcast last week, just want to express our condolences to the Thomas family, to the Denver Broncos organization, and to anybody else who knew Demaryius as a family member or a friend. Gone too soon at 33.
Way too soon.
Demaryius was a fine player for the Denver Broncos. Also played for teams like the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. But he was known as a Bronco. I believe he was part of that Super Bowl winning team with Peyton Manning.
He had the touchdown winning catch in overtime against the Steelers from Tebow.
Yep. So Demaryius Thomas had a fine career. The Broncos honored his memory well by manhandling the Lions on Sunday at Mile High, 38-10. John, any words for Demaryius Thomas? Anything you remember about Demaryius Thomas's career?
So first of all, Demaryius Thomas was an absolute beast, right? Like I think he had like 5 straight 1,400-yard seasons or something. His numbers are off the charts for those 4 years he was with Peyton Manning. But what's amazing about Demaryius Thomas and what was so great to see the outpouring of was just how much people respected him as a person and how much people liked him.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because, I remember firmly that I refused to draft him in fantasy. I refused to draft him in fantasy football because I just didn't think he was a good fantasy player. But the reality of the situation is he was a good pro.
Yeah, he was a good person.
Pro. Upstanding guy. Everybody talked about him, how much of a good person that he was. But obviously our condolences go out to the family of Demaryius Thomas and the friends and everybody that we can. So with that being put aside, it is time to talk about the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh boy,
of Urban Meyer. John, we're going to talk about this for a little bit because there's a lot of things that need to be said here. A lot of things that need to be said. I cannot remember a worse coaching hire in my lifetime. I really can't. You want to bring up Adam Gase? Adam Gase was a moron. I mean, that was really it. Adam Gase was a schmuck. Bobby Petrino, that seems to be the most similar comparison to this, I feel. But this, it goes deeper than the play on the field. This goes to the character of a man who had a checkered character past from all of his stops and just could not get out of his own way. And it was all inflicted by him. It wasn't like he had a string of bad luck.
No.
Everything he did, like, he made his own bed. Starting from, and I'll say this, I was for the hire when it happened. Because I thought he was a great football mind. He was a guy that could come in and, transform the team. I was naive to the fact that his past wouldn't catch up with him now. Or it wouldn't follow him to this job. I mean, let's go through the incidents.
I was just about to mention this to you.
All right, what, you want to go through the incidents?
I mean, are we going to the incidents in Ohio State?
What? Oh, you want to go that deep?
I mean, now do you want to? Because
yes,
I
we should.
feel like this does.
We absolutely should.
This is 100% an issue.
You talk about the Ohio State stuff.
So there was I just have to look it up again because I want to make sure I get this right, just out of respect for anyone who was involved in this.
I mean, and while John's pulling that up, obviously the issues that he had at Florida with, and again, all this was masked because he won. Like, if anybody's ever seen the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix, there were allegations that, players on that team were murdering people while they were on that team. So go ahead.
I got it. So there was a head coach on his roster that was accused of domestic violence.
Not a head, an assistant coach?
It was an assistant coach on his roster, and he kind of covered it up. That was basically what happened.
Well,
Civil protection order against him a few days after Myers said that he and his staff had previously not known about the allegations. So they didn't know about them. And there was an issue of whether he reported them or not. But then once he came under heat, he let him go, and then that's when he left Ohio State. So like you said, and then with the Florida thing. Aaron Hernandez.
Right.
Cam Newton. Cam Newton was there with the laptop incident.
I know.
There's just a lot, and you're right, man. He just won, so it's just kind of...
It got brushed to the side.
But he's a very...
And there has been,
checkered guy.
There has been talk that since Ryan Day took over at Ohio State from Meyer, that the culture change is night and day from when Urban was there and when he was not. And let's really quickly let's go through all these Jaguar incidents, right? The first one is he hires Chris Doyle as the performance guy or the scouting director, whatever it was. Chris Doyle got relieved of his duties at the University of Iowa because he made racist remarks while he was there. Completely disregarded that. Hired him. Had to resign the next day because of the outrage that came from that hire. Then he goes and he has, what we know now is the Josh Lambo incident in spring training or training camp where he legitimately kicks a player. He kicked the kicker in the leg. It's not like he smacked him on his helmet.
No, he actually assaulted him.
He kicked the kicker. You couldn't kick anybody else. You had to kick the damn kicker. Now I know why Josh Lambo sucked this year. Because he got kicked. I mean, Jesus.
Then he asks his assistant coaches to show their resumes.
Well, before that. We haven't gotten there yet. Fast forward a month, and we get to the bar. He doesn't travel back with the team after losing in a crushing loss to the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. Doesn't go home with the team. Goes to a bar that I believe he part-owned or something like that.
Yeah, it's Urban's restaurant or something.
And he has this 19-year-old or 20-year-old, I don't remember, and she's just grinding all over him.
He's putting his hands where they shouldn't go.
And it's just, not a good look. Has to apologize. Shad Khan comes out and says he needs to regain our trust. Right? And that was big.
Yeah.
Okay, that's big. In a month on the job for the owner of a football team. And let me be clear, an owner who is, by all experts in the industry and fans alike, is known to be the most patient owner in professional football. This is a guy who employed Gus Bradley for 4 seasons. Okay? Very, very patient owner. Comes out in a month after Meyer, with his shenanigans, says he needs to regain our trust. So let's think about that. Let's step back. Let's step behind the curtain for a second. Urban Meyer lost the respect and the trust of an owner who is known as the most patient owner in the NFL in a month. A month. And then you have the instance. It is really an instance, but you have all the stuff with the press conferences. He doesn't know the players' names. He doesn't. It's just crazy. Then you have the issue with Marvin Jones, and then you have the issue with him calling the assistant coaches losers and asking for their resumes. Right? It just never seemed to end. And here, to me, was none of that was the final straw for me. Right? Not when I say the final straw, not the final straw of him. I'm wanting him to be gone. The final straw of Shad really believing that he needed to go. I thought he were going to keep him for another year. I really, really did, because of Shad's patience. In the 5-year contract that he had, worth however much it was. But then the other day, This is when the tide turned for me. The other day, Trevor Lawrence comes out in the media and says, the drama needs to stop for us to win football games. Let me say that again. Trevor Lawrence, a rookie quarterback on a bad football team, comes out to the media and says, the drama needs to stop for us to win football games. John, everyone knew who he was talking about.
Of course.
Because there's not one player on the Jaguars who has caused any drama this year.
Not one.
Literally, not
even
one.
James Robinson.
Not one player has caused drama on the Jaguars this year. To me, that was the end. That was the end. Because at that moment in time, Shad Khan was put in a position where he had to make probably the most vital decision of this franchise's history. You now had Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence on two sides of the fence. You either go with Trevor or you go with Urban. I don't know how many rookie quarterbacks can be leaders in their first year of the NFL. Let me be frank. I have so much respect for Trevor Lawrence and for what he did. He could have said no comment. He could have said, that's really not my place to speak about it. Again, this is a guy who's, by all accounts, he's struggled in his rookie season. I think we could all agree with that.
Yeah, way underperformed.
He's struggled, right? Not all of it's his fault, but he's struggled. And yet he came out twice. First about James Robinson. We got to feed him the ball. And then the following week, which he says about the drama. If your rookie quarterback comes out and says that, knowing full well that the national media is going to get attention of that, they know who he's talking about, and he's okay with it. That's a leader, people.
But you know what it is too? You know what I think it boils down to, Joe, with this team? They just literally, they didn't see Urban Meyer as anything in that organization. Because he could have come out weeks ago and said this, but now he was just like, I'm done.
Well, he's done.
Like, it's over now.
And you know
it's
what,
time
though?
For you to go.
I am, and if you're a Jaguar fan listening to this today, I'm going to tell you now, I have never been more confident in the direction of this franchise than I was yesterday when Trevor said that. That guy gets it. He knows what it takes to win. And he knows what has to be done. So, I'm cool with T-Law. I'm good. And Shad, and you know it's funny too, after Lawrence says that, like literally a half hour later, the story about Lambo comes out.
Yeah.
Half hour later. And Shad finally put his hand in the sand and said enough is enough.
Urban was just, you know what's crazy, man? Like, he just, when they hired him, right, I was like, you know, like, we were both excited, right? Like, let's be honest.
I was.
Watching him in college, and you're like, Urban Meyer's a Florida legend. He's coming to Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, like, this is it. Everyone wanted Urban Meyer in the NFL. People, listen, everyone now, if you want to have revisionist history and not go look at articles from maybe 4 or 5 years ago, how bad everyone wanted Urban Meyer in the NFL, just like they want Lincoln Riley in the NFL.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted him. He didn't want to do it. Then he finally said, all right, this is the right situation for me, right? The thing about Urban Meyer, though, he is the worst body language guy I've ever seen in my life. Joe, he looked like he was just not engaged in the game at all. Like, and it was like, you know what, man? Like, I don't know if you're just standing there. Do you know that your headset's on? Was his headset even on? Like, he just looked very like, there was no energy from him. There was no excitement from him. And it was just like weird. Like, you don't see him and Trevor Lawrence really like kind of
Vibing.
Like, you didn't see him vibing with any players, any coaches. Like, players like kind of like They were like making fun of him almost on the sidelines. Remember that time when they were smacking his ass when they won?
Yeah.
And they were like joking around with him, and he's like, you know, he's weird. Then the stupid little weird handshake with Mike Vrabel last week. It just, I don't know, man. But listen, enough about Urban. Where do you want to go from here? Like, who is the guy that you really want? Well, there's a nice short list.
Well, listen, I just want to I want to go back to this I want to just finish the conversation here. This team now is in a very interesting situation. Okay, they have 4 games left. Got Houston, you got the Jets, the Patriots, and the Colts. Okay? Mm-hmm. People think, and they're right, this is a team that is rebuilding. But the way this team's played over the past month of the season does not indicate the talent they have on the offensive side of the football. They have talent on the offensive side of the football. It is there. It has just not been displayed. And I fully believe now that the performance of this team had something to do with the way they felt about their head coach. They just didn't want to play for him. They did not want to play for him. And I think you're going to get a renewed charge from this team on Sunday. I do. I really, really believe so.
That would be nice.
If they can beat the Texans and beat the Jets, which, let's be honest, even before Urban got fired, which was entirely possible. But now it feels like it's even more possible that he's gone, that they could win those 2 games. Not saying they will, but they can. Right? If they could win those 2 games, I think it's going to show potential free agents that this team is not as far away as everyone thinks they are. I think, and people are wrestling with that, right? Especially fans, like, do you want to lose out and guarantee yourself a top 2 pick because then you get Thibodeau or Hutchinson? Or do you want to try to win a couple of games and still have a top 10 pick, but maybe grab somebody in the top 10? I want to win games. I've always wanted to win games. This team needs to start seeing some W's in the win column, especially for that young quarterback.
Yeah.
They need to see some W's in the win column. So let them try to win a couple of games, and it may attract some guys to come here.
$77 million in cap space.
$77 million in cap space. Now, let's get to your question. Who's on the short list of guys that they could hire? Let's get the obvious one out of the way, right? Doug Peterson. Clearly, Super Bowl winning head coach. He's been out of football for a year. Got fired by the Eagles after the 2020 season.
Yes.
Last year was really a mess in Philly, but besides that, he was pretty good there. He's an obvious candidate.
Yeah.
To me, anyway.
I think he's up there.
Another obvious candidate to me, Jim Caldwell. Been out of the league for a little while, but if you want a guy who has a calming presence and somebody who could right the ship quickly, I think Jim Caldwell's your guy. Okay? Then you have... Those are the 2 guys I think that have had head coaching experience that I would go after. The rest of the guys I'm going to name would be, well, there's actually one other guy that has head coaching experience that they're going to interview. Don't know how I feel about it. That's Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, of course. Everyone interviews him every year.
That's the other one. Don't know how I feel about Josh McDaniels, but we'll see. Then you have the 3 guys I think that are, or the 4 guys that are looking to be first-time head coaches. And I've always said I think a team that is a win-now team should hire a coach, and they're looking for a coach, should hire a coach who has experience and who's won before. If you're an up-and-coming team and you have young pieces, you want a coach to grow with you. Very much a la Sean McVay with the Rams a couple of years back.
Yeah.
You know? Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers.
Brandon Staley with the Chargers.
Right. Yeah. Same idea. First guy I'm going to give you is a guy who I don't think they should hire, and that's Brian Dabel. Okay? Brian Dabel is the offensive coordinator for the Bills. He was a hot commodity last year, almost got that Charger job.
And then went back to...
But Brian Dabel is a guy who does not like to run the football. And the Jaguars' best offensive player right now is James Robinson. So just by that alone, he's out. For me. Then you have Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
I don't know how much I like that one either.
Kellen Moore is going to be a hot commodity in this league. And he will be hired as a head coach sooner rather than later. But I'm telling you, and I said this on the Twitter Spaces before, I think Kellen Moore has a very, very Josh McDaniels-esque vibe to him around the first time around he's going to be a coach.
Yes, I agree with you.
So,
I agree with you 100% with that.
So I think he needs a little bit more seasoning. So I would stay away from him as well. Then you have Eric Bieniemy, who has been good, but has clearly not been as dynamic as an offensive coordinator as he was a couple of years ago. So I don't know what his realistic chances are. John, me and you talked about it in the offseason. There was some people that think that he doesn't interview very well.
Yeah, that was the big rumor, right? That he wasn't an interviewer.
I don't know what the deal is there.
You saved the best one for last, though.
Who am I going to mention last?
Byron Leftwich.
There's a reason I mentioned Byron Leftwich for last. Byron Leftwich is a guy who, if you do not know, Byron Leftwich was drafted 7th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2003 out of the quarterback of Marshall. Byron Leftwich was okay, but by all and large was a disappointment as a quarterback of the Jaguars. But moved on, bounced around the league a little bit, and then became a head coach. Or not head coach. Became an assistant coach after he retired. Became a quarterback's coach for the Arizona Cardinals in 2018, I believe.
Yep.
And filled in as OC after Mike McCoy got fired for the Arizona Cardinals. And then after that, he moved to Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians in 2019.
Yep.
With Tom Brady, won a Super Bowl, and is third in offensive VOA this year. And the Bucs are 10-3. Now, is there some of that Tom Brady? Sure. Does he have great weapons there? Sure. Byron Leftwich is a very solid candidate for the Jaguars.
He really is.
He's a very solid candidate for the Jaguars.
Doesn't he give you very, like, Brian Flores kind of vibes?
I don't know what he gives me, and I don't want to go down that road, but I like him as a candidate. And I do think that the Jacksonville area would really, really thrive with him. And here's something that I'm going to throw your way. Okay? Don't you, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it has to be asked. Is there a possibility that he comes with Chris Godwin as a package deal? Chris Godwin is a free agent after the season.
Could.
Wouldn't that be a home run and a half to have a new head coach in Byron Leftwich, who's been talked about highly by a lot of different people in football? And you also get Chris Godwin, basically, kind of like what Marvin Jones did with Darrell Bevell.
I think, honestly,
right?
Joe, honestly, though, I think before you get a little too crazy about that,
I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm spitballing.
I think if Brady was to hang it up, if he was to win 8 and he hangs it up, I could see Godwin leaving for sure. 100%.
But if Godwin wins 2 titles, you don't think he's going to want to get paid afterwards?
Listen, by all accounts, Godwin's a very team guy. So it's like, what if he just takes the minute like a less again and just stays?
All I'm saying is I think they have a lot of good options to choose from. Yeah.
Mike Zimmer?
No.
What if you took Mike Zimmer as your defensive coordinator?
That's different. Now again, with Leftwich, he's going to hire guys, you would think any of these first-time head coaches are going to hire guys who have been in those positions before. OC, I want a guy who's seasoned. DC, I want a guy who's seasoned. Stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. If it was me, the only guy I would keep from the coaching staff currently is the guy who that runs the defense, Joe Cullen. The Jaguars' defense has been worlds better since the beginning of the season under Joe Cullen. But, we'll see what happens. But those are my guys. If I had to choose in order, I would go Leftwich at 1, Caldwell 2. The only thing that stops me with Caldwell,
he's been out of the game too long.
I don't know how long he's going to be there.
Because he is 66 years old.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is, like, when you think about it, you're like, all right, he had a Detroit team that was like, they won 9 games 2 times with him.
He's coached a combined 7 seasons between Detroit and Indianapolis, and he's had winning seasons in 5 of those 7 years.
Yeah, so he's definitely a winner. The only thing that concerns me, like you said, 1, how long would he be there? 2, has he been out of the game too long, a la Mike McCarthy, where it's like you come back and you're a little lost? You know, like, are you hip to what's going on in the league? Like, have you been paying attention? I saw people floating out Tony Dungy, which is like hilarious.
Tony Dungy already denied that he would be taking the job.
Like, that's not
But
happening.
Tony Dungy did give a public endorsement to Jim Caldwell.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to. But there's another name that I heard today, really quick before I let you go. Sorry, everybody. The cough is still here. I was watching on ESPN, and Marcus Spears said it.
Okay.
He said Wink Martindale, defensive coordinator for the
No.
Ravens.
No.
I don't think they need a defensive coach.
No.
Okay. All right, good.
We need an offensive-minded guy, please.
Yeah.
Please? Be great. Be wonderful. But I am excited. I'm so excited to go to the game in 2 weeks at MetLife.
There you go.
Can't wait. But John, let me ask you, what do you think about this whole thing? Well, I mean, from beginning to end, what do you think? Because this was a complete disaster.
It was honestly one of the worst hirings.
Is it the worst hire in NFL history?
It might be. It might be. It just might be. I mean, just because of how disengaged he was from like day one. It just something seemed off. Like, everything seemed right leading up to it, right? Like, he's doing all the videos. Like, we're going to be in the weight room. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. Live it. Own it. Bah, bah, bah. You know, the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
And then you get to the game, and it's just like, I said it to the group chat. It's like when, say you, like, apply for a job, right? Say you apply for a job working in an office as, like, a banker. But you've never went to school to be a banker.
Right.
It's like, you just don't know. Like, he just looked so... Lost, like a deer in the headlights. And then when he made that comment that like, oh, everyone's like playing Alabama every week, it's like, dude, did you watch any NFL football? Like, do you realize just how different the game is from college? It's a totally different game. Like, it's like he was just so confused. I don't know how someone goes into somebody with a football mind like that goes into an NFL season so confused.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. You know how big of a fan I am.
Obviously, yes.
Okay, I am a self-proclaimed. I'm a super fan. Okay, I was so disengaged with this team this year because of him. It takes a lot for someone like me to be disengaged with my football team. You have to push me to limits that, like, I was just so done with them. I was so done.
And then, like, in the beginning of the season, like, the free agent moves, you were on it where you were just kind of like, oh, none of these really make much sense. There was, like, one that you liked. Was it Shaq Griffin?
Shaq Griffin has been a fucking fantastic signing.
You love that signing. But other ones, you were just like, all right, maybe it means something. Like, you were trying to, like, read between the lines of each one to be like, all right, Urban's got a plan here. And, like, you're trying to figure it out.
They signed a lot of, like, depth guys.
Yeah.
Who they wanted to play 3 downs, who aren't 3-down guys. And listen, Roy Robertson Harris is a nice player, right? Mm-hmm. He could be a really good rotational piece. Malcolm Brown's a nice player. Jamal Agnew is a very nice player, right? Shaq Griffin was the only surefire starter that they got in free agency.
Yeah.
You know?
It was just a weird thing. I don't know.
But again, my point being, if they could just win a couple of games here and they could then sell. Because again, John, it's still an attractive job.
It's the most attractive job in football.
It's still an attractive. You have $70+ million in cap space. You have Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback
on a rookie contract.
On a rookie contract. You're in the state of Florida with no income tax, and you're getting a brand new practice facility built by Shad Khan that's costing about $200 million. So they have things that attract people to come play for them.
And a possible top 5 pick.
Right, and a very patient owner who's willing to let you kind of do what you want. The last thing I want to say before we move on about this is if they keep Trent Baalke, I might burn that stadium to the ground. Trent Baalke also needs to go. Needs to go.
I don't even know who's a GM that's available.
Ed Dodds, part of the Colts organization. Get me Ed Dodds. That's who I want. Heard it here first.
Joe knows.
Ed Dodds. Now, with that being over, John, COVID's a bitch, huh?
Yeah, we've been trying to avoid this, just like we've been trying to avoid COVID. But dude, the whole league has it, and I think it might not have hit anybody worse than the Cleveland Browns.
It's crazy, right?
They need that game.
I mean, even today, Ronnie Harrison just got placed on the COVID list, former Jaguar. Got placed on the COVID list. And now, on Saturday, they're playing Saturday, they are going to be without Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Tristan Wirfs, Ronnie Harrison, I think Wyatt Teller, amongst David Njoku, Austin Hooper.
literally almost their entire team.
Like, it's insane.
It's bad.
And they are currently 7-6. And John, let's be serious. If they had their whole roster, they're playing the Vegas Raiders on Saturday. That's a playoff game.
Yep.
That is a playoff game. Now, if everybody's saying, "Oh, we want to move the game," the Browns supposed to play on Christmas Day as well. Now, if I'm the NFL, which I'm not, I would move both the Browns game this Saturday and the Browns game next Saturday, both to Sunday. On the off chance you could get more players to come back and play for the Browns. That's what I would do. But I'm not the NFL. So now the Browns are going to have to go out with Case Keenum, who's won a game for them this year.
Yep.
Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt, injury.
Half the offensive line is
Half the
decimated.
offensive line and half of their defense, and it's supposed to win against the Raiders. No Kevin Stefanski. He's got COVID too. So the head coach won't be there.
For the second time.
The second time this year. So they're in a really precarious spot. They're in a really precarious spot. And if you're the Raiders, you got to capitalize on this, right?
If the Raiders lose, that would be...
You got to capitalize. You got to get back to 7-7. You know?
It's bad. It's bad. We didn't really talk about this the whole season, right? We didn't talk about COVID because it was just like a couple of cases here and there. For some reason this week, it's just like...
I think it's something that we're going to be calling for the rest of our lives, just COVID season.
Yep.
Just like flu season, you're going to have COVID season. And if you remember, this time last year, same thing happened with COVID. Same thing happened. Spiked during the winter time, and then it fell down apart towards the spring months. After in 2020 and the summer and the fall, it kind of was not there. But then as we got closer to winter, it started to creep up again. So shocker. Same thing happened this year. I just don't know if the Browns could recover from all those. They could recover. They were able to win without Baker Mayfield because of an injury, but they had the rest of their roster intact. I don't know if they could overcome this.
No, they're decimated.
I'll give you a bold prediction, John.
Oh, bold.
If the Browns win on Saturday with everybody out, they're making the playoffs.
I think so too. I agree with you. I think so too.
If the Browns win on Saturday, they're making the playoffs.
They're still alive. They have to win.
Well, they're 7-6. If they win, they become 8-6. The Bengals play the Packers on Sunday, and there's a high chance that Lamar Jackson does not play.
You mean the Bengals? You mean the Ravens play the Packers?
Did I say the Bengals?
Yeah, you said
Okay.
the Bengals.
The Ravens play the Packers on Sunday. There's a high chance Lamar Jackson does not play against the Packers, who are 5.5-point favorites with Lamar in the lineup. So, if the Ravens were to fall, I don't know who the Bengals play this week.
Bengals play Denver.
Bengals play Denver.
In another must-win game.
Right, so the Bengals, let's say the Bengals beat the Ravens, the Browns beat the Raiders, and the Ravens lose to the Packers. All three of those teams are 8-6 with 3 games to play. And each of those teams have gone 1-1 against each other.
It's going to come down to the stretch. But this is the issue now. Now it's like...
This is why I think the game should be moved.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Games weren't moved last year, so who's to say games going to be moved this year?
They're saying just let it roll.
Yeah. And another team that's really been hurt by this is the Washington football team. They're getting smacked. And it looks like Kyle Allen's going to be playing quarterback for them on Sunday.
Wait, I thought he had COVID too.
No, I think Taylor Heineke had COVID.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, it looks like Kyle Allen's going to start for Washington. And they have a big game as well. And they have a huge game against the Eagles in Philly on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a game where the loser, may be out of the playoff picture altogether. You know?
Mm-hmm. And then I just saw on alert tonight, what's his name? Chris Jones out tonight.
COVID. Chris Jones not playing for the Chiefs. COVID. In a huge game in the AFC West Showdown tonight. Huge game.
Tyler Lockett.
It's just all over the NFL right now. So COVID will impact how the playoffs shake out. COVID will impact fantasy football playoffs. That's for sure.
Big time, yeah.
So, if you don't have a deep team, maybe in trouble.
Why didn't Cooper Kupp get COVID?
Wow, you're just wishing death upon my wife.
I was just looking at her lineup hoping that somebody would get COVID. And then it would be contagious.
You better hope Justin Herbert just doesn't do anything tonight.
What if he comes up COVID positive tonight?
Then I think you're happy.
I am.
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Nah, I think at this point, I think they play. But wait, here's my whole thing. When do they test these guys?
I think they get tested every day or every other day.
So, how do you, where... How is it spread? I don't even know. I'm not even going to try to be a scientist right now. My brain is not letting me be a scientist about how, the testing time frame to them playing and then being like, oh, you have COVID. Because Odell Beckham played in the game on Sunday. Monday had COVID.
Yeah, he probably got tested on Monday.
But then he was playing Sunday. So he, already gave it to somebody else.
Maybe.
It's unstoppable. Whatever. It's going to happen anyway.
Right.
It's going to happen. Like you said, it's COVID season. It's just going to happen.
Exactly. Well, folks, that was a good first segment. That took about 40 minutes.
That was a long one.
That was a long one. When we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of games this weekend, and then we're going to get to our game picks and our sleepers and busts afterwards. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want?
All right, guys. Well, we're back here for segment number 2 of our Week 15 edition of Perfect Spiral. Joe Miglio here with John McCarthy. And we are going to break down a couple of games from this past week. First game we're going to break down is going to be the one that was played on Monday night between the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I got on the Rams last week.
Quite a bit.
2 weeks ago, actually. For not playing up to their potential. They did on Monday. They did so without Jalen Ramsey, who was out for COVID.
Tyler Higbee,
who was out for COVID.
Darrell Henderson,
who was out for COVID.
Who else?
But they played well. They did. Matt Stafford had a really good game. Although Beckham had a great game.
Fantastic game.
Cooper Kupp was just a machine.
Open on every fucking
literally
play.
A machine. And their defense held Kyler Murray in check.
Aaron Donald was an absolute force.
So, yes, he was. And he helped cause a couple of holding penalties late in that game that took some plays away from what the Cardinals were trying to do in that last drive. But this is the Rams team that you wanted to see. You want to see on a consistent basis that you haven't seen, and I'm not sure that you're still going to see it on a consistent basis. But the reality is the reality. They're a game out of first place. They're 9-4. The Cardinals are 10-3. You know,
that was a huge win for them.
I mean, what did you think of the Rams' offensive approach in that game?
So I think the issue, Joe, that we're seeing with the Rams, right, is that they didn't have some balance for a little bit. One, you have to run the ball. Sony Michel was pretty solid again.
Sony Michel ran the ball 20 times for 80 yards.
And you know what? Some of those holes he had early in the game were huge.
Yeah.
If you start running the ball and you start doing your short game passing, Cooper Kupp, little slant routes, Cooper Kupp, little out routes, right? At least 1 to 3 times a game, you're going to have that deep shot. Whether it's Odell Beckham or Van Jefferson, who I'm saying it right now, Van Jefferson is an absolute stud. Okay? Their offense is very structured around that. Stafford looked healthier than he's looked in weeks. He looked really good. But listen, they got to have balance. And you know what? Sony Michel has been running the ball pretty well for them. I'd keep him in the lineup.
I think they're going to use both of them going forward. I mean, let's go with some. Stafford was 23 of 30 for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That was Stafford from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, maybe his most efficient game of the season. Already gave you Michelle's numbers. Cup 13 for 123 and a touchdown.
Jesus Christ.
Just an animal on 15 targets. Odell Beckham 6 catches for 77 yards and a score. And Van Jefferson, you just mentioned, he had 2 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown. He caught that bomb from Stafford.
I feel like he has that once a game. That's there for him once a game.
Yeah, well, he's their deep threat. Very simply put, he's their deep threat.
And it doesn't seem like they're yearning the loss of Robert Woods right now.
Again, with the Rams, this is a good game. Division game. See, it's weird. Division games you got to throw out the window sometimes. Because division games are like... I could see the Rams lose to the Seahawks on Sunday.
It's possible.
Because it's a division game. But you just never know.
The Cardinals, something looked off about them.
Cardinals looked off for a while now.
Yeah, Kyler just doesn't look comfortable.
Healthy.
Well, but Joe, this is what we saw last year with him. He starts off hot, get the leg injury, comes back, they start fiddling around a little bit, they don't look the same. It's happening again this year. He started off hot, MVP, has the leg injury, has a month off, comes back.
Well, here's
and
another
now he's
thing,
a little...
though, John. Let's put the cards on the table here. Kyler Murray shouldn't be throwing the ball 49 times. He was 32 of 49. And he threw for 383 yards, but he threw 2 picks. Okay? James Conner only ran the ball 13 times, 31 yards. Also reeled in 9 catches for 94 yards and a score. But, this team is not going to be successful if they're throwing the ball 50 times down the field. And now DeAndre Hopkins is out for a lengthy period of time. They're saying he may come back in the playoffs.
Yeah, the timeline is 6 weeks with that torn NCL.
So, they were in the driver's seat to get that bye, and now it would have been super useful if they would have got it, because it would have been a week extra for Hop to heal up. They're saying a 6 weeks injury. They have 4 weeks left in the regular season, and then if they don't get the bye, that means he would miss the wild card round if he doesn't come back in time.
Yeah.
It's tough.
That's a tough loss. That's a big loss for them.
And not to mention, the division is not in hand for them yet. They're a game up on the Rams. They're a game up. I was really encouraged by A.J. Green on Sunday.
He had some nice catches.
On Monday, had a really, really nice game on Monday. But I'm expecting Christian and Kirk to take a big step forward now with no DeAndre Hopkins in the lineup. I may even advise Canna to start Christian Kirk this Sunday, John.
Why are you stopping?
No, I'm not.
Joe's on bye week, so he's advising other teams to start playing.
Loving this. It's great.
No, but they look a little out of sorts. They got to get going. Losing Hopkins does not help.
Now,
They're
I
gonna
will
chase
say the
Evans
Cardinals get a reprieve this Sunday. They play the Lions. So, John, don't. The Cardinals should be the Lions without DeAndre Hopkins.
I know, but I'm just saying I need to see Kyler.
And probably without James Conner, too.
Kyler needs to be a little more comfortable, man. That's it. He needs to be a little more comfortable.
Cardinals have the Lions left, while the Rams this week play the Seahawks. In Week 16, Cardinals have a huge game against the Colts.
That's a big one.
Right? And the Rams are in Minnesota, which is a game I could just somehow see Minnesota winning. I don't know why, but I can. Then the Cardinals play the Cowboys, Week 17, which is not an easy game either.
No.
For both teams.
And who do the Rams play?
Rams play the Ravens. So, tough games for both teams. So, it's going to be interesting down the stretch.
Yeah, it's going to get tight.
It's going to be very, very interesting down the stretch. In Week 18, the Rams play the 49ers and the Cardinals play the Seahawks. So both teams are playing division games in Week 18. Listen, it's going to
come down to the wire.
It's going to come down to the wire. I'm not sure what the division record, because I believe the tiebreaker after head-to-head, if you've split the season series, which the Rams and the Cardinals have done. So if they finish with the same record, I believe the tiebreaker is division record. Your record against your division.
Which don't the Cardinals have the better division record?
I could find out for you.
Let me see.
Let me see. I could do this. No big deal. But
NFC West.
but it's interesting how things are going to shake out. I think the Cardinals are the better football team. Personally, I think they got a better defense. I think they got a more complete offense. I think they're the better football team, but without DeAndre Hopkins, it makes things a lot tougher.
Why can't I pull up division records right now?
Makes things a lot tougher. Why don't you let Papa take care of it?
All right, you take care of it.
Let Papa take care of it.
And
let's move over to another NFC West team that played a game this Sunday. Let's move over to the Niners and the Bengals, which was a huge game and a great game.
That was an incredible game.
I mean, obviously San Francisco won in overtime on a Brandon Ayuk touchdown. But this is the second week in a row. So the second week in a row that the Bengals just they looked awful out of the gate.
And then they come back, they roar back, and then okay, so happened in the Chargers game. They were down 24-0, and then they roared back, and then they chargered themselves, and then they lost. Same thing in this game, right? So they come in, they look flat. They're flat for almost 3 quarters, and then suddenly there's this jolt. Joe Burrow hits Jamar Chase on a touchdown. Then he hits him on another touchdown. And this game is suddenly close. So then it suddenly goes to overtime, right? In overtime, for some reason, the Bengals kicked the field goal. Am I remembering this correctly? They were on the 20-yard line of San Francisco. They could have punched it in, but they kicked the field goal. Something happened there where it was like a bad call. So you give the ball back to San Francisco, and your defense didn't hold, and then they scored the Ayuk touchdown for the win. I don't know. Maybe it was just like a little bit of a bad coaching thing, but there's a little bit. They're frisky when they want to be after they like start really, really super sluggish, right? We're starting to see this now. We're starting to see. I do think that this team will make the playoffs, but that's a concern.
I mean, listen, right now, season today, they're out of it. They're out. Season ended today. They are 100% out of the playoffs. Season ended today.
They can't start slow against Denver.
And to answer your question before, the Cardinals are 4-1 against the division, and the Rams are 2-2. The Rams have 2 division games left, where the Cardinals have 1. So if there is a chance that they could both. So tiebreakers are head-to-head, division opponent, division record, and then common opponent record.
Okay.
So there is a scenario if the Rams were to beat both Seattle and San Francisco, they would be 4-2. And if the Cardinals were to lose to the Seahawks in Week 18, they would also be 4-2. If their records are tied, then their division records are tied, and they would go to common opponent record. That I do not know the answer to. I'm not even going to dive into that. But that is the tiebreak scenario.
Okay. So right now, those are the standings.
To answer your question about the Bengals, Jesus.
Yeah.
To answer your question about the Bengals, this team needs to get off to better starts. You know, they seem like they're okay with playing from behind because they come back and they're able to get stops. But this is a team that has shown over the course of the year, if they could get ahead, they could put you away. You know? Think about the teams that they've lost to over the course of the year where the games had to come back. Green Bay lost 25-22. You know? The last 2 games, Chargers lost by 9 or 10 or whatever. Then lose to the Niners in overtime. Against a bad team like the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, they fell behind 20-10, came back and won that game 24-21, right? But games they get ahead, the Ravens game sticks out, you know? They win 41-17. The Browns game, they get behind early. They get blitzed by the Browns. It was like 40-16. They got embarrassed by the Browns, right? So
Steelers game.
So the Steelers, both games, they blitzed the Steelers both times they played. So this is a team that if they could just get ahead early, I think they're good. I do. I think they're okay. But they're not getting ahead in these games. And I don't know if that's an offensive scheme problem.
That's what I was just thinking.
You know, because Jamar Chase has not been getting... Jamar Chase got saved last week with that touchdown catch late in the game. But he has not been that great. I think that Jalen Waddle has overtaken him as the best wide receiver in the rookie class this year. But it seems like T. Higgins over the past couple of weeks has really taken a step forward.
3 straight 100-yard games.
In that offense, and I think he's going to do so again on Sunday. They still have Tyler Boyd, still got Joe Mixon, but they need to have more structured drives.
Do you think it's like too many mouths to feed?
I don't think so. There's a lot of hate going around over there for Zach Taylor, offensive minded head coach. I think it's a little premature. The Bengals are 7-6. You guys were 4-12 last year, so let's calm down a little bit. Give the guy a break. You guys are in the playoff race. I'd love to be there. So I just think they need to have a better scheme. They were doing better than when they were working through Mixon. It's funny how all of these good teams just work better when they run the football.
And then when they just suddenly stop running the football, it's kind of just like they just forget how to run the offense.
I mean, last week they lost by 3 points. They lost 26-23. Burrow had a good game. 26 of 25 of 34, 348 and 2 scores. Sacked 5 times though.
He has been getting hit a lot more.
Joe Mixon did not have a great game. 19 for 58, only 3 yards a carry. And had 2 catches for 10 yards. So Joe Mixon did not have a great game. He's
a little banged up.
He's getting hurt a little bit. But the Bengals, they have another big game on Sunday, man. Huge game against the Broncos on Sunday.
That's a loser leaves town, man.
Two teams that are 7-6. Winner goes to 8-6 and has a good position with 3 weeks to go in the regular season. All 3 wild card teams, I believe, in the AFC. No, the Chargers are 8-5, the Colts are 7-6, and the Bills are 7-6. Those are your 3 current wild card teams in the AFC right now, 5 through 7. But then you got the Browns at 7-6. You got the Bengals at 7-6. You got the Broncos at 7-6. You got the Dolphins and the Raiders at 6-7. And you got the Steelers at 6-1. So all of these teams are still in it. Literally 1 game out of a playoff spot. The Dolphins, the Raiders are 1 game out of a playoff spot.
I can't believe you know all that right off the top of your head like that. That's just insane.
Me?
I'm literally mesmerized. You just mentioned every record, all the teams on the bubble, and what's happening at the bottom of the AFC.
It's a gift.
It's a straight up gift. Real quick before we move on, you want to talk about Buffalo for a second?
We can talk about Buffalo for a quick minute. I mean,
that was another really good game.
I expected the performance that they were giving at the beginning of that game. I really did. Because I thought they got gut punched. I thought that they really didn't play with a lot of fight on that Monday night game against the Patriots. And the Bucs came out and just completely steamrolled them in the beginning of that game.
Well, absolutely blitzed them.
And I think Josh Allen just said, I've had enough. And he just like that Thanos meme.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah. And, they came back. But another you can't play from behind against a team like that.
No.
It makes it that much harder.
And then what's funny is now they started to run the ball with Josh Allen, and then he hurts his foot, and it's he's their only source of offense.
Sometimes, John, teams just can't get out of their own way in certain seasons, and I feel like for the Bills that this year is that they just can't get out of their own way.
It's not meant to be for them this year.
You just get that
you just get that vibe from it. It's just all right, you might make the playoffs, but it's just.
And it's sad because they're a really talented football team.
I know, and you know what scares me about them, Joe? You know what really scares me? And I just thought of this. I feel like they're going to turn into the Ravens for us.
Oh, God.
Where it's just all right, what is it?
I feel like Bills fans would love to be the Ravens, though. I don't know why. I would love to be the Ravens as a Jaguars fan.
Yeah, but aren't they trending in that direction of what are we?
Well, they have a very similar type of quarterback.
Yeah, and a similar type of offense and a similar type of everything where it's just you shouldn't be losing these games.
Listen,
mean, granted, you played against Tampa, and you played against Tom, and that's that. But
as a fan, and you're a Viking fan, I'm a Jaguar fan, fans of 2 struggling franchises. As a fan, don't you just want your team to have a chance year in and year out?
Of course, but at the same time, it's
you want to be in the mix.
You want to be in the mix, but when you're in the mix for so long and nothing comes of it. And that's where my team comes in, where we were in the mix for so long and nothing happens.
Right.
It's almost kind of
frustration.
The frustration sets in, and it's all right, well, where is our reset button? What is our identity? What are we? Because I don't think Buffalo has an identity.
Right, but I don't also think they're there yet.
No, but I'm just
they're not at a point where okay, let's blow it up.
No, not at all. Listen, they'll be competitive for the next 3 or 4 years, but it'll be this. It'll be like, all right, you're going to beat a top 3 team, but then you're going to lose to Jacksonville. Because now that we're looking back on Buffalo, right, doesn't that Jacksonville loss actually mean something?
Of course it does. Sticks out like a sore thumb.
We thought it was just an aberration. All right, bad game, whatever. Jacksonville just caught them sleeping. Jacksonville just outplayed them that game. Buffalo hasn't looked right for half the year, and you go through their schedule, right? They haven't really beaten quality opponents. What, you beat the Chiefs? You beat the Chiefs in what, week 5?
Beat the Chiefs when the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs.
Exactly. So it's like, what are we talking about here with them? I don't know. I'm just like, there's something off about that team, and I can't figure it out because I feel the same way about the Ravens. It's like, well, I'm watching them, and I want to figure out what it is, and I can't figure it out.
They just don't look like a huge Super Bowl threat.
No. And we came into the season saying, you know what, man? Top of the AFC, man, it's Buffalo's to lose. It's Buffalo's to lose.
Well, they've lost it.
No, they did now, but like that's what we
sure.
said. We said it's Buffalo's to lose, and then what happened?
I mean, look, you look at this. You look, we're in the middle, towards the end of December. You look at the top of the AFC, and it's the same familiar faces we're used to seeing: the Chiefs, the Patriots, and the Titans are all there, sitting pretty.
Listen, I think they can make some noise in the playoffs if they get their wild card.
Listen, if they get hot, they're as good as anyone.
Yeah.
But they got to get it right.
We haven't seen it yet.
They got to get it right. But that's going to do it for Week 15. When we come back, we will do our normal segment of Fantasy Sleepers and Busts and our game picks. And then we will let you know if we're doing a Christmas episode or not.
Oh, we're going to decide that like live.
We're going to decide it live.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back. Transition. Forgot the word for a second. All right, John, we're back here.
All right.
We are back.
Wait, so real quick, I was just thinking about something.
Talk to me.
Fantasy sleepers and busts.
Yeah.
Are we still? We should still do those in the playoffs. I mean, everybody's lineup's kind of. I was just thinking about that.
I mean, how do we want to? Do you want to do something different?
Why don't we do like, who's going to be the top performer?
Ooh, we want to change up.
Let's change it up a little bit. Let's do top performer.
So you want to do okay?
You pick one guy. I pick one guy.
Position or just overall?
Just overall. You're one top performer.
Oh God. Okay.
I just switched up on Joe. We need to spice it up a little bit.
Call me by surprise a little bit.
So you
top for. How about this? How about we do? You want to have some fun? Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. Fun.
Let's pick top rusher for tonight's game.
Okay.
Top receiver for tonight's game.
Okay.
Okay. And who's gonna have a better? We'll do tonight's game by itself, and then we'll do the games for the rest of the week. Get a little bit of both.
Let's do it. All right. Let's go.
So who do you think is going to have a better game tonight passing the ball? Mahomes or Herbert?
Mahomes.
Okay. By a lot or no?
So I think Mahomes.
You're not saying that because you're going against Justin Herbert?
I actually am. Yes, correct. So, no, all right. Real talk, though, I think Herbert has a really good game.
You have a thing they both have a good game.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, I'll switch. I'm going Herbert because you know what? They need to win. They need this game more than the Chiefs do right now, I feel like.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Herbert. I think Herbert has a nice game. He had a huge game against them in the beginning of the season.
Okay. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have the best game on the ground tonight because the Chargers, they were better last week against the Giants, right? But Edwards-Helaire actually had a nice game last week. So I think they're going to build on that a little bit. I think the Chiefs finally found a little momentum offensively. Realize that running the football actually helps Mahomes a little bit.
He's been pretty good the last couple of weeks.
So I think that they're going to run the ball a little bit effectively. I like Hilaire to rush for the most yards in this game. Eckler, I think, is going to be used sparingly tonight. I think he's going to be used in passing downs only, and I can see Justin Jackson running the ball a lot tonight for the Chargers.
I agree.
Wide receiver is an interesting one because you got a lot of options here. Right? We got Kelsey, we got Keenan Allen, you got Mike Williams, you got Tyreek Hill. Where are you going for best receiver tonight?
I'm going Mike Williams.
Really?
I think Mike Williams has a huge game.
That's not what I want to hear. I got Keenan Allen in my semifinal matchup.
Yeah, but Keenan Allen's coming back from COVID. I think Mike Williams has a nice game tonight.
A couple tutties?
Maybe one.
One tutty? Can I get a score prediction from you for tonight's game?
23-20. Kansas City.
I thought you were going to do it for a minute.
I think Kansas City wins this game.
Okay.
I was out on the Chargers. I'm going to stay out on them.
Okay,
I'm not going to change my thing on them.
I think it's going to be more like 35-31.
What if it's 54?
But you know what? No, I shouldn't say that. I'm an idiot for saying that. Kansas City's defense has been awesome.
Yeah, but that Chris Jones is out. I mean, that's a huge.
Maybe like 26-17. Something like that.
Kansas City. Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kansas City wins this game.
All right. Let's do what you want now. Biggest performer of the weekend. And then we'll do, how about we do biggest bust of the weekend? Fair
Fine.
enough?
That's good.
Okay.
Like the guy who we think is having the most points this week.
Right.
Okay.
Of any position.
Any position. Okay.
Wow.
I already have mine.
All right, go ahead because I need to look.
And he's on my team, so I'm done. He is the only man left standing on his team. I'm going Nick Chubb against the Vegas Raiders. I think Nick Chubb, all right, all joking aside, I think Nick Chubb has a huge game. I think he has 200 yards on the ground.
200 yards on the
I
ground.
think he has 200 yards on the ground. I feel like they feed Nick Chubb heavily this weekend. 200 yards on the ground, 2 tutties. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think he's literally their only weapon available. So I'm going with him as my biggest performer for the week.
Biggest performer for the week. Oh my God, this is so difficult.
I just dropped this on you.
There's a couple names coming to mind right now. Honestly, I would have said Jalen Waddle, but he's not playing Sunday. A couple names that come to mind immediately are Chris Godwin against the Saints. Mm-hmm. They just love to get him the football. That's why I like Chris Godwin.
Lately,
they like to get him the football. Cooper Kupp comes to mind. Both guys I'm going against this week, but such is life. Wow, this is really difficult. Really, really difficult. Can I give you the guy I'm not going to like this week? Most? Jonathan Taylor.
I do not like him either this week.
That
I think he's the biggest butt.
Saturday night game against the Patriots in Indianapolis just seems like a tough matchup for JT.
Belichick owns the Colts.
So I will.
You're going to fade Jonathan.
I'm going to fade on Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Have to start him, obviously, but I just think he's going to have a great game.
I don't think he is either.
I can see like 8 to 10 points for Jonathan Taylor on Saturday.
One of his worst of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a fade guy for me this week? 'Cause I'm still looking at the.
So my fade guy this week is my quarterback that I'm going to start, but I'm only starting him due to matchup purposes. I am fading Joe Burrow this week.
Wow.
Against the Denver Broncos.
Fading.
You
think they lose?
Like I said before, Joe, I think it's a loser leaves town match, honestly, but Denver's defense plays really hard. This is a game where they cannot get off to that slow start shit again. They need to score. So they could lose this game. If they lose this game, it's over for them. But
that would be really crappy.
I don't think that he has a very good performance because I think that defense is just very good.
I'm going to go Chris Godwin. I'm going to go Godwin.
As your, highest performer?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. The Saints have a really good defensive line. They got after it last week against the Jets. If Brady's going to be under pressure, he's going to be underneath a lot, and I think that's where Godwin thrives. Slants, the curls, the hooks, all that other stuff. I think he's going to thrive with that.
He's been the Julian Edelman
and
for them.
he has you literally took the words out of my mouth. He has become the Julian Edelman for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 100%. Yep. He's getting 12 to 15 targets a game from Brady. And whenever he's open, he's throwing the football.
Yep.
So give me Godwin for 30+ on Sunday night against the Saints.
Woo! There you go. See?
30,
See what I'm talking about.
30+ against the Saints on Sunday night.
Boom.
Going against them. Shit.
That's all right. At least show Jonathan Taylor to get faded.
Yeah, right. All right. Let's finish this up with some fantasy sleepers and oh my God, listen to me. Game picks, week 15, John. Let's remind the folks of the standings.
Oh, God.
Joe Miglio in first place at 33-32 on the year. McCarthy trailing by 3 games at 29. 4 games at 29-36. So John is 4 games behind this year. John, where are we going? I mean, last week you were just. I feel like last week you were being silly.
I was being silly. I was actually purposely being silly.
You were being silly last week. So now you got an opportunity to get back here. You need a bad week from me. I mean, there's only 4 weeks left. There's only 4 weeks left. So
All right, I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm
hit
ready.
me.
First pick, New England plus 2.5 against Indy.
He goes straight for the jugular, right out of the way.
Of course, I'm taking New England with points.
Okay.
You're gonna tell me New England can't win this game by 7?
Of course they can.
I'm going Buffalo Bills minus 10.5. Carolina's just terrible. Is Cam Newton starting?
They're going to split him and PJ
All right,
Walker.
good luck. Buffalo minus 10.5. And you know what? Just for fuck of it, give me the money line and give me the under on that too. What else? I am going to go. Oh my god, no, I can't do this.
God.
Stop. No, Joe, why do you have to do this to me? This has easily become our best segment because you just like you like. I'm not taking Jacksonville again.
I just looked at that.
I'm not
spread.
doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh God. Oh, that's so tempting.
You know what? Give me as an upset special. I don't think they win, but I think they cover.
Houston?
Give me Atlanta plus 9.5.
Okay.
Atlanta's frisky, man.
That is for Atlanta not plus 9.5. Okay.
That's my upset special. I don't think they win. I think they cover. What? Now I got 2 left.
Yes, you have taken the Patriots plus 2.5. You have taken the Bills minus 10.5. And you've taken the Falcons plus 9.5.
Give me Seattle plus 5.5 in LA.
Oh, the balls on you.
Give me Seattle plus
Oh,
5.
my God. Got one more.
And then you know what? We're getting points. No, we're not getting points. We're giving points. Give me Minnesota minus 5
In Chicago.
in Chicago.
All right. John the Professor.
You're like grimacing through all of my
Oh,
picks.
the Seahawks one was tough to swallow. That was a tough one to swallow.
You're gonna tell me that if Russ doesn't hit like 2 deep shots, you're not gonna be like shitting yourself. Like, okay,
God.
maybe it happens.
John's picks: Vikings minus 5, Seahawks plus 5.5, Falcons plus 9.5, Bills minus 10.5, Colts, Patriots plus 2.5. Nice, solid picks. Okay. Well, this is interesting. A lot of interesting spreads this week. I am going to take COVID into account here. And I normally would not do this because I do not like this, but give me the Eagles minus 9.5 against the Washington football team. They are ravaged with injury right now.
I thought about that too.
And with COVID cases. The Eagles are coming off a bye in a game they need to win at home.
Jalen Hurts might play.
So, okay, can I put a stipulation on that then?
Yes.
If Jalen Hurts does not, I'm going to give you a 6th game.
Okay,
if
that's
Jalen
fine.
Hurts
That's
does
fine.
not play, I'm going
We'll
to
shake. We'll shake on that.
We're going to
That's
shake
fine.
on that.
We'll shake on that one. That's
Beautiful.
fine.
Love that. Okay. So, okay, that's the stipulation there.
Because I don't think it's definite that he's playing or not.
Daniel Jones is out again, right?
Yes. Danny Jones might not play the rest of the season.
God. Do I take the Cowboys? I don't know. No.
That line was fishy to me. I didn't like that.
Okay.
Something about Dallas. I don't.
Wow,
something
this
about
is
Dallas.
a really okay. Give me the Packers minus 5.5.
Okay.
I do not think Lamar's going to play, and even if he does, I don't think they beat the Packers anyway. Give me the Packers minus 5.5.
That line's gonna move heavy.
Well, I'm taking it, so I'm taking it now.
Yeah.
Jesus, this is not a good week. Give me the Jags minus 5.
Jesus Christ. Okay. He did it.
The comeback is on.
Jesus Christ.
The comeback is back. All right. Jags minus 5. Packers minus 5.5. I need a couple of gimmies here.
There really isn't a gimme on that list. Like Tampa, you would think at minus 11 was a gimme. I don't like that one.
I don't like that either. The Saints always play them tough.
For some reason, yes, in the regular
Saints
season.
always play them tough.
This was one of the first weeks where there was no like,
Wow.
That's the line. I think Buffalo's the only gimme, really, personally.
You think Buffalo's the only gimme?
Yeah, because how many points is Carolina going to put up?
All right, you want an upset special? Give me the Steelers plus 1 at home against the Titans.
Okay.
Was not impressed with how the Titans played last week against the Jaguars, even though they won 20-0. The Jaguars were lifeless on offense. Then the Tennessee's offense did not impress me at all. And I think they're going against a better defense this week. Last week, Pittsburgh got gashed by Dalvin Cook. The Titans do not have Derrick Henry back there. They have Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard. So I will take my chances with the Steelers. In a must-win game for the Steelers at home against the Titans. Give me the Steelers +1. Give me...
Is this your 6th game?
This is my... So I took the Eagles, I took the Jags, I took the Packers, and I took the...
Steelers.
This is my 5th.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a contingent 6th.
Okay.
As well. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Okay. This is not a fun experience here.
Just take New England with me.
Fine. Sold. Take New England with you. +2.5. And then for my contingent, I am going to take... Fuck it, I'm going to do it. Take me the Cowboys -10.5. Giants are a bad football team.
You're gonna regret that one.
Think so?
I'm telling you right now.
That's my contingent.
Yeah, because that something with Dallas does not jive for me right now.
You're very, very animated about that.
Yeah, there's something off, man. There's something. Did you see Jerry came out and he was like,
"Yeah, but the Giants are putrid."
I know, but like, what if they play Dallas tough?
Why would they play Dallas tough? What indication have you gotten they're going to play Dallas tough?
Dallas might let it happen. That's the problem.
Well, if Dallas is up 30-0 and they lose and they beat them 30-15, they still cover by 10. They were up 18. Listen, Washington's a better football team than the Giants, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they were up 24-6, and they ended up winning by 7.
Yeah.
So, like,
I see what you mean. Maybe I'm just hating on Dallas.
yeah, give me as my contingent.
Okay.
So, all right, John. Last piece of business. Are we doing a show? Are we doing a show next week?
Yeah, let's do a show.
When are we doing it?
What day is Christmas?
On a Saturday.
So we just do it on Wednesday.
Wednesday is tough for me.
Oh.
Wife's friend is coming into town from North Carolina. We're going to see her at like 2:00 in the afternoon. I have no idea what time I'm going to be done.
What about Tuesday?
Tuesday could work.
I like this. I like that we're figuring this out live.
Tuesday could work. You want to do it Tuesday?
Let's do it Tuesday.
So
because we missed 1 week already. So we'll do a Christmas special episode. We'll make it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll have cookies and milk.
What are we here? What are we happy for?
Yes.
What do we want for Christmas?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go through all of our Christmas lists and stuff.
Yeah, I like that. That's fun.
All right.
Tuesday. Show next Tuesday, folks. We did it just right here. All right. Well, this was fun. John, anything to add before we get out of here?
No, I'm chilling, man. That was a good episode.
Game tonight. Chiefs at Chargers in SoFi. Chargers already beat the Chiefs in Kansas City earlier in the year. So if the Chargers win tonight, they would have swept the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams would have a 9-5 record, and the Chiefs would have to have a better record than the Chargers in order to keep their division title. Interesting game. Huge game tonight. Biggest one of note, Chris Jones will be out for the Chiefs. COVID really hasn't seemed to really get Kansas City and LA bad yet. So hopefully that stays the course. But big game tonight, and don't forget there is a couple of games on Saturday. We got Browns Raiders and Patriots Colts, and then you have your Sunday slate. Sunday night is Bucks Saints. Monday night is Vikings Bears.
Let's go.
So
almost a playoff push, Joe.
Almost a playoff push. We're almost there. Fantasy playoffs this weekend. Good luck to everybody.
Good luck to you,
especially my wife. Thank you, John.
Listen.
I am in a listen. I want my wife to win because then that means one of us will be guaranteed to bring home some money.
But you know what's unfortunate? I like my path. Can we talk about this for 3.5 seconds?
I mean, if you play me, you're going to lose.
It's not going to happen, Joe.
You're going to lose if you play me.
It's not happening.
It's going to happen.
Joe, I'm sorry. I'm not scared of your team.
My team is better than yours from top to bottom.
Joe.
You can't even say it's not.
Listen.
Do you want to compare this really fast?
You want to go? Listen,
we're just about to go, but now you got me all riled up. Okay.
First of all, I'm the Bill Belichick of fantasy football.
That's fine. Okay. You're gonna tell me. Let's go. Okay. You got Joe Burrow. Okay. Nick Chubb. All right. My dude, you're starting Rashad Penny this week. Okay? You got Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, George Kittle. Nice. George Kittle, Amari, and Tyreek Hill is a nice little combo. And Julio Jones, who you just picked up off the street. Okay?
Who I'm starting with confidence.
Right. Starting with confidence. Sure. Okay. Right. Adam Thielen on the bench. And you're just not starting Terry McLaurin. Just not doing it.
No.
Okay. Now, let us go to the division winning by sitting Sunshine. Okay? You got Joe Burrow. I'll one up you with Patrick Mahomes.
But I have Tyreek Hill.
It's fine. I got Patrick Mahomes. Okay? You have Nick Chubb and Rashad Penny. I'll just checkmate you with Austin Eckler, Saquon. Oh, and James Conner. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's Goliath.
James Conner is the number 6 running back in fantasy football right now. Okay? Number 6. You know what number Austin Eckler is? Number 2.
He's your son, right?
Okay, my son. Patrick Mahomes, number 5 quarterback. Okay? Your wide receiver core. Pretty even, I think. You know? You have Tyreek Hill. You have Amari Cooper. And you have a combination of either Terry McLaurin or
Adam Thielen.
Right? I think on a healthy week you're playing Thielen over McLaurin, right? I counter with CeeDee Lamb, who's better than Amari Cooper. No questions asked. Okay? Not fielding questions for that one. And Keenan Allen, who is probably the same type of receiver as Adam Thielen. Right? And then you have Tyreek Hill. You beat me with Hill over Metcalf. I'll give you that.
And then I have Kittle over Andrews.
Absolutely not. No. This year, Mark Andrews is the number 1 tight end in fantasy football.
Have you seen Kittle the last 3 weeks?
Number 1 tight end
All right,
in fantasy football.
We can talk about this next week after I bulldoze through Miss Miglio's fantasy team, and then we'll see what happens. Sorry, Hannah. It's just bound to happen.
Okay.
I'm talking mad shit, but you know what's going to end up happening? I'm going to lose by like 30.
And next week, I already picked up the Chargers defense playing the Houston Texans.
Because I dropped them. Well, I'm an idiot.
There you go.
It was a bonehead move by me.
Checkmate, bro. I also got the Packers if all the Browns guys keep staying in protocol.
Do you still have the Browns defense?
No, I dropped them.
They were the mainstay.
Well, sometimes you gotta evolve. Okay.
We'll have an update next week.
We'll talk next week.
Spider-Man tonight?
I'm going Friday. When are you going?
Tonight.
Good luck. Just give me a number 1 to 10. That's it.
That's all. I told you I would. I told you I'd text you a number.
Fantastic. Folks, if you're seeing Spider-Man, have fun. If you're watching football, have fun. If you're doing anything, have fun. We'll see you guys next week.